Sandy Hook shooting. Olivia's house, small but mighty, does not even begin to describe. Our reach goes beyond this community, but our heart is in this community. Yes. And these families are always our priority. And so it's just an honor to be here with you today, you know, and that we're working on this side together.
Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. When I think about the nonprofits of this community, again, I think about the value of Olivia's House and some of the other nonprofits that we'll be doing interviews with, but I can't thank you enough. I mean, the value of what you do and what your team does in this community is priceless. I wish you only the best, and thank you.
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you so much. And thank you all.
You know, the Chamber, I've said it earlier, we've got a dynamic community here. We're so unique. We're growing every day. And we want to work on the community's behalf. We want to be an advocate for you. We want to make sure that those services that our nonprofits are providing stay. We want to continue to see growth in our residential areas, whether that's on York County side or Adams County side. We want to support our students. And, you know, we need the support to do that. And if we can help your business thrive and grow and provide jobs to the community, then ultimately we're making the entire community better. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth. Jesus, Lord, at thy birth.
So welcome to the chat alongside Corey Smith. I'm Jeff Cook, and we're pleased to have two distinguished gentlemen. Corey, to your left, would you like to introduce them?
Yeah, so we got Brady and Nick here. They were here a couple.
Brady to your far left?
Nick.
Yep, Brady
and Nick. Okay,
Nick, yep.
Well, okay. It's good that our viewers at home want to know. In case you want to send some fan mail. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they were here back in August, and you know, back in what, June was it, or?
Yeah, June and July for baseball.
June and July there.
And you were still, DeLone was in the postseason.
Yes.
It's all coming back to me now. You guys have agents yet for your TV work, or?
Not yet. Not yet. Still
Okay. But Nick, at least you're playing baseball at Hagerstown.
Yes, sir.
Right. Mm-hmm. So how'd that go? What do you? I guess you have fall ball and then another season in the spring. How's it work?
Yeah, we wrapped up our fall season, and then we get our spring season started just about when we go back to school. So.
You play other junior colleges, or?
Yeah, we play other junior colleges, a couple small D3s, stuff like that.
Okay. And you're a pitcher?
Yeah, I pitch and I play first base.
Okay. How'd it go?
So far, so good.
Good. All right. And what do you guys want to tell us about your first year of college so far? Right. Home for break.
Yeah, excited to be back.
And you have a month off.
Yeah, I go back the 20th of January, so.
Brady back to ship, and yeah.
Back on the 13th, so a little less time.
Yeah, well, you'll be ready to go back. That seems to be the the view. At least it was when although when I went to Gettysburg College, they had this thing called J-term, which was, you had one course during the month of January. It was kind of interesting. But yeah, now everybody, it's kind of I guess you try to save money on heating bills or something. So you get no Eagles fans in the crowd. How about Steelers? No? Oh, you said Cowboys?
Yep, I'm Cowboys.
And Jets? Did I hear Jets?
Unfortunately.
You want Aaron Rodgers to come back for another year?
I do. I think he's shown
What's he-
promise, and I think he could be good for whoever we bring in the offseason, if we bring in a young quarterback in the offseason.
Has he reserved some time in the cave to get his mind right?
I hope so.
Oh, well, you know,
I mean, they did get a win, you know.
yeah, an unlikely win.
With Devontae Adams having 198 yards receiving all in the second half there. So
Yeah, you say it was a breakout game as a Jet, right? I mean, Nick, he hasn't done that much before.
No, but it's been team-wide issues, if I'm being honest. But the lack of connection there has been disappointing up until this past week.
Yeah, and injuries. I mean, in the NFL, injuries are really a fact. You look at, I was watching a little bit of the Lions, I guess, Lions-Bills game, was that?
Yeah.
And all the guys at Lions have lost. So, I mean, how long can they stay at the top?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, with their schedule, they should be able to, you know, kind of get up to that top seed there. But, you know, they got, you know, the Bears this week, and, you
The
know,
Bears look bad. No offense.
none taken. I was watching it after our game last night, you know, of us.
And they're saying, well, if they had just beat the Commanders, they'd be fine. I mean, no, they wouldn't be fine. I mean,
I think they would just have one, you know, more win on their resume there, but just
Yeah.
the way that they play, and you know, this is just a telling season there for Caleb Williams. I mean, he is just getting bombarded with, you know,
Yeah.
tackles and sacks and just.
and
all
it seems
sorts.
every time they do something good, it gets called back.
Just like that touchdown where
Yeah,
you know, the
yeah.
lineman didn't, you know, make himself
Eligible or-
eligible. They get the touchdown, then it gets off, and then they, you know, kick a field goal. So that's the season in a nutshell there.
But what a division. You look at who saw what the Vikings would be able to do, and with Darnold, no less, and the Packers. I mean, Jordan Love, he's a real thing. I think he had a brief understudy under Aaron Rodgers, didn't he? Kind of
Yes, brief
like
there,
Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers under Favre before. But not, I think Favre, Rodgers probably spent more time behind Favre. But anyway, great division. Cowboys, are they eliminated yet? They're not eliminated. They need a lot of help, don't they?
Yes, they do.
A ton of help.
And they just need to be healthy, which they haven't been all year, and it's not looking that way with Diggs going to the IR. So they're just playing for draft picks right now. But
I think that loss when they, you know, in that Monday night game,
Yeah,
you know, with the
block and
Bengals,
punt.
that was basically an elimination game of, you know, whoever won that game has a faint pulse. Whoever lost,
Yeah.
you know, was, you know, weeks and games back from, you know, the team that they're chasing
Yeah.
there. So
So the Bengals have a weak pulse?
it's a very faint pulse there, but I
Faint.
guess
Yeah, there's that guy that gives the odds to make the playoffs. It's probably single digits.
it's single
Oh,
digits.
yeah.
there. I think
Yeah.
it's, you
If
know,
not
maybe
even
even,
one.
you know,
Yeah.
not even a percentage.
And that's a team where, I mean, Burrow's had a great year. You have to have defense. You can't just have 300 yards passing and score 35 points a game and then give up 42. I mean, they've lost a lot of close games.
Ravens twice, and then the
Well, listen, you guys are really taking this seriously. I'm going to sit back and we have hottest seat in
seat there,
sports, and then we'll do shining star. Let's get the hot seat out of the way.
Let's get the hot
Okay.
seat.
So who wants to start?
You want to get the first one, or?
No.
Yeah.
I'll start on there,
Yeah.
and we'll go down the
All
line.
right, Nick, go for it.
So my hot seat is the Baltimore Orioles, kind of in general, like more specifically their front office. In the AL, both the Yankees and the Red Sox have brought in top line starting pitchers with Fried and Crochet. They need to sign impact starting pitching now. and soon. There's not many names left
You
on
got
the
some
market.
Japanese guy they're talking about?
Yeah, and it was a
Mayoka or
36 or
35-year-old,
there, yeah.
and he's very decorated. Seems like he's had a great career, and I hope he does great, but that can't be the extent
It's just a
of the move.
one-year deal for $13 million. That's not.
Don't you have a
really-
shot at Burns?
I like to
Doubtful, huh?
think so, but it's everything I've seen is that he's rumored most heavily with the Red Sox and the Giants. And if they're willing to spend more and they're being more aggressive about it,
They have more. I mean, they're not all, they can't just write a blank check. Some teams can. The Orioles, I mean, they're considered a kind of a mid-market, not a major market, not a minor market, but
Almost in that middle tier.
yeah. So I think that's part of it, but you're right. I mean, every year you wonder, okay, what kind of pitching are they going to have? I mean, Corey's a big O's fan, so
and they've had one of the lowest payrolls in the league for a couple of years now. They got to start spending some money.
raise the price of tickets, get some cash. I mean,
hopefully
there's a
not.
lot of TV money out there, I'm sure. That's where most of it comes from, but I don't know that. So Brady, who you got for the hot seat?
I have Debo Samuel. He came out to the media last week saying he's not struggling, he's not getting the ball. He's just not getting the ball. But then a fan commented he actually leads the team in drops. And then 49ers tried to get him involved on Thursday night in a terrible game to watch. He had 7 targets for 3 catches for 16 yards, along with 2 drops, and it's just
In the pouring rain. I mean,
Yeah.
that was hard to watch. I
not
left at halftime.
yeah.
I think that drop that Debo had was not in the rain there, but he was wide open. Would have caught it in
yeah.
stride to get in the end zone, but a big drop. I think that was on 3rd down, which then just kind of correlated into a field goal there.
No
but
Ayuk. I mean, so you talk about injuries, certainly the 49ers decimated.
especially with
how-
CMC and a bunch of their
Yeah,
running
like
backs.
Brock Purdy, what's he worth now? I mean,
Is this the real?
can he stay healthy? I mean, it's kind of like Aaron Rodgers. You better have a darn good offensive line, and you better keep the guy upright. I mean, Aaron, didn't he have a couple scrambles for positive yardage last game?
Pretty sure he led the Jets
led the
in
team in
rushing yards with 45.
Yeah.
Which that's
That
crazy.
doesn't
for a
happen too
40-year-old,
often.
Yeah.
But
He's
they won.
Frisky. Maybe he's finally getting over that Achilles from a year. I mean, that's at his age.
Yes.
It takes a while to heal. So we look for onward and upward with the Jets. Who do you got? How
Well,
does seasons
I'm
work?
going to just stay with the 49er trend there. I'm going to go with Devondre Campbell. He's the one where Shanahan said, "Hey, you're going to go out, and play," and he refused, and he was escorted to the locker room.
The
there.
linebacker?
He was the linebacker. He was taken over for was it Greenwell? Greenwell when he tore his
Greenlaw's
ACL.
back.
He tore his ACL last year in the Super Bowl, so he is now back, from recovery. So they were going to go, a pseudo, reps and all that there, and he just says, "I'm not playing."
And I know Fred Warner also left that game a couple times with in dealing with injuries. So
Who's kind of the heart and soul of that defense, he and Bosa. Yeah,
So the thing with the Niners, they can't cut him or they're due money. So they have to go through all these steps here in the league procedures there. So they just
who are you talking about?
Campbell. So they suspended him for the final 3 games there. So
Well, why can't they cut him for doing something like that? Is that
Well, they
the
still have to pay
contractual
him.
thing
Yeah,
in
they
the
have to pay him
player's
all that there.
contract?
So
That
so that's
stinks.
why they just suspended him. I guess he's not going to get the
Kind
money
of
there, so-
Antonio Brown Jr. I think that's what we called
That's
him
there, yeah.
last. You guys know who?
yeah.
Yes.
That's not that long ago. What was that? Somewhere in the last 5 years, Antonio Brown
was
threw his pads into
probably-
the stands and.
That was probably 2022, 2020.
Yeah,
against the Jets.
All right. Not a good example for the youth. All right, so I'm going to go. I mean, the reason I hadn't really thought this through. I mean, I'm 800 some shows into it, so you got to cut me some slack. But I'm picking up Nick's theme, the front office, except I'm saying the Phillies front office because they really haven't done. They picked up a 31-year-old reliever I'd never heard of before, but according to Casey Lawrence. It was a good signing for the Phillies. You know who Casey Lawrence
Oh, yeah.
is? Okay, has he ever come out and work with you guys?
He coached us our freshman year at DeLone.
Did?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, kind of off season for him, I guess.
Yeah, at the time.
Yeah, so he's getting, I guess, spring training, February, somewhere in there. Pitchers and catchers. Crafty. Yeah, he was so cool to have him on the show. We really enjoyed having him here, and wish him all the best. So, anybody else? The hot seat. There's no limit to the people you can put in.
Yeah, we can get some more throughout the show there.
Yeah.
And then
You know, how about?
the shining star.
Okay, shining star. I want to say like James Franklin. You know, is he in the hot seat? You lose to SMU, it's not going to go well.
Well, that'll be, I guess, a TBD. You know, maybe, you know, whether if they do lose on Saturday, the SMU, that is definitely hot seat worthy there. But you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
still
right.
have
If they win, and then they got Boise State or something
Boise State on New Year's
on
Eve.
the blue,
I think
Oh,
that
that'll be on.
That's a neutral.
That's a neutral site in Arizona.
one of the bowls, a Fiesta
That'll be
Bowl.
the Fiesta there.
I think that if Franklin does not lead them to a semifinal appearance, he might be on the hot seat because there's no reason they shouldn't with how easy the strength of schedule is for like.
We'll know Bo Pribula. I just saw that.
Yeah,
He's in the portal.
Pribula, he's from York. We should know how to pronounce it.
Yeah,
Pribula.
Pribula.
Pribula, okay. But really great two-threat guy, kind of like Will Levis. There's just no room for him. I mean, I don't think the current starter, he's not going to have a 6-year career like Sean Clifford, but I mean, Pribula is basically starting a quarterback somewhere.
Yeah, and it's like a whole. They have like a whole package for him in their playbook. Some SMU doesn't have to game plan for now.
You know, with the whole transfer portal, I know the backup quarterback for
Drew
Ohio
Aller,
State-
I whiffed on
I was
his
just
name.
getting ready
Yeah,
to.
yeah. Help me out. Yeah.
With Ohio State, their backup quarterback, Devin Brown, he's in the portal, but he's still going to be practicing. Yeah, so
I always say that when he says portal. It sounds like Twilight Zone or something. Yeah. I want to come out of the portal. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it's just interesting to just see all this because all these players have to commit to the portal before the 28th because the next portal opens up, I think, in March. So you have a long time frame between the first portal to the second portal.
Yeah, and they got to change that because a guy like, that's not right that Pribula has to make
In the
this move
playoff
for
run.
him. Wouldn't he love to stay and play and get even more showcasing and maybe get a better deal? I mean, let's face it, these guys are professionals.
And the thing is, with Drew Aller coming back for a senior year, that just basically told Bo Pribula, like, hey,
you
I'm
might
not
get 1
starting,
year, yeah.
I'm going to go somewhere else where I can play my 2 years. So
And probably a lot of schools want him because he was always a primetime player. Whenever he got out there, he made the most of his chances. So
I guess before we get to the call, I guess we can do the shining star, and then we
okay,
can take
we got a call.
I guess we can go down to the.
My shining star for the week is Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver rookie for Jacksonville. Partially because he won me my fantasy matchup this week, but also because in such a loaded wide receiver rookie class, he has led all rookie wide receivers in yards and touchdowns while doing it on significantly less catches than some of the other big names like Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. And he also seems to be, as Corey said earlier, quarterback proof. With all the issues Trevor Lawrence has had staying on the field, Mac Jones, he's been producing pretty steadily, and he's on his way to a 1,000-yard season.
Which some people were kind of, didn't expect 1,000 yards from Brian Thomas, with some of the weapons that they have there. So, I mean, just the way he's been playing, it's been.
You say he's a Buccaneer?
No, Jacksonville.
Oh, the Jaguars. Okay. Yeah, I mean, where did he go to college?
LSU.
Well, their neighbors went there too, didn't he? So,
Teammates.
Yeah, he led.
they always have great receivers at LSU.
Thomas led the country in touchdowns last year as
right.
well. So.
You guys are. I'm really impressed. Good stuff. There could be multiple shining stars too. So, Nick, you got anybody else or?
No, he's the one I was really focused on. He helped me out a lot this week in fantasy. So.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
I'm going to go with Nick Bonito from the Broncos. He has back-to-back games with a pick six, and the timing of those pick sixes were so crucial, like complete momentum-shifting plays in two crucial games that the Broncos were losing, and then they ended up winning. as
Yeah.
they try to keep pace in the AFC playoff race, because the Colts game was looking ugly, and then he got the pick six and ended up winning by double digits. So
Is Sean Payton a Coach of the Year candidate? I mean, clearly he is, don't you think?
yeah,
I mean, they were, what, 0-2 or something like that? They looked like they were dead in the water, and since then, they've been the real thing.
I would say him, or even Kevin O'Connell.
Oh, yeah, I
you
agree
know,
with that.
The Vikings.
They weren't
Yeah, oh,
expecting
yeah.
a lot with the Vikings, and you look at them being 12-2 with losing McCarthy, and you're going with Sam Darnold.
What a receiving core, and that just shows how vital that is in the NFL. And when the Steelers didn't have Pickens,
Yep.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks
I
there.
mean, I
yeah.
remember Deshaun Jackson couldn't play. This is 10 years ago, and the Eagles were same thing. You could load the box. You know, they couldn't do anything. They didn't have a home run threat. So, all right, shining star. You got any more?
I was just gonna say he's also. I think he's quietly having like a defensive player of the year type season. He has 11.5 sacks, 14 tackles for loss, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. So
This is Nick
Benito.
Benito. Well, that's a great choice. Thank you.
I
How
like
about
that
you?
I'm going
Corey?
to go with a little off the grid there. I'm going to go with men's soccer, Vermont Catamount. They won their first national championship game after beating Marshall 2-1 in overtime there. So
Isn't that two schools you maybe would normally think of as being
powerhouse.
title game worthy? I don't know. I don't know much about soccer.
I just saw that on the bottom ticker there, and I'm like, well, that's
The catamounts, that's one of the, I think it's some kind of cat, isn't it?
yeah, it's
Like a cougar. You call it a cougar, I call it a catamount. All right, that's a good one.
very sneaky under.
I'm
the
going to
radar.
go, I'm a Philly-centric, so I'm going to go, and I listened to the game last night, the Sixers, no Embiid, he's got a fractured sinus bone. Hopefully he's not going to be out too long, but picking up the slack and a win over the Hornets, I know they're not good, but Paul George and Tyrese Maxey, the first time that two players had, I think, each had 6 threes in the game or something like that, some arcane stat like that. So that's what I'm going with. Anything else you guys want to cover with the?
I also want to give a shout out to the Packers fans who going into Seattle and basically taking over that stadium on Sunday night. You were
very
hearing
quickly too.
You were hearing "Go Pack Go" in Seattle, which is one of the toughest places to play. I mean, 12th man
How's
for a
that
reason.
happen?
But
I mean,
yeah,
the Steelers are really good at that. The Eagles are really good at that. So you got to have a fan base that's willing to travel. I mean, I was really impressed with with the way Tampa Bay went out to the Chargers and whipped up on them.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a
That
big
was
statement
surprising.
win there. I guess
Baker Mayfield is pretty good.
another hot seat that we can probably put on there is Jonathan Taylor dropping the football, trying to
Yeah.
score a touchdown. So, which
Colts running back.
going with what Brady was saying with momentum, they would have been up by 13 points, and you get the role reversal.
And now the guys drawing a circle, they're almost like down to single digits now, aren't they, the Colts?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on life support there.
Okay.
I guess we lost the caller, but the caller is back.
The caller is back. All right, well, let's go to the phone line. Welcome to Sports Chat. Hello. Merry Christmas to everyone.
You too. These
Carl.
games coming up, Jeff, where does this line come from? Should be very, very, very interesting.
Oh, that was Artie Johnson
You got it, buddy.
laughing.
That's just the way I age, buddy.
You guys remember that show, right? Nick, Brady, come
that's
on.
not my wheelhouse.
That's even
I don't
before
know.
Corey's time. That's how old it is. Okay. What was Theodore?
Hey, Corey, I want to ask you a question.
Fire away.
Does SMU survive at Beaver Stadium? I think the temperature's going to be like 25 degrees.
That helps. That helps a lot.
Basically, it's going to be cold. I mean, any way you shake it or dice it, it's going to be cold. I think the
A
thing
noon
with
kickoff.
a noon kick there.
White out.
The white out there. I think with SMU coming up north, going to play in Penn State, in that atmosphere, I'm going to go with Penn State winning the game there. I think it's going to be a close there. I think the only way that SMU has a chance is that they have to make a statement in that first quarter. If they're down by 2 scores, it's going to be hard for them to, uphill that battle there.
You don't think that I don't know how elusive he is? As you know, my family went to Louisville.
I know,
Louisville
yeah.
played SMU, and they got snubbed in the fourth quarter because that was a fumble where Louisville picked up and ran it in, and they could have won the game, but they gave it back to Kevin Jennings and SMU. They went down and scored and won 34-27. The thing with Kevin Jennings is he extends plays, just like the quarterback for Oregon. But I just can't see them surviving at Beaver Stadium in December. No, if that game was at SMU, then we got a dogfight.
I think if it was in SMU or in a neutral site, I think it would be a closer game there. But I like Penn State, probably about 14, 14 to 17 points there. I see them taking that pedal to the metal in the second half there, and it'll probably be close, after the first quarter there. But I think they have more horsepower in their arsenal there.
Now, getting back to Louisville, I want to ask you this. They picked the number 3 quarterback in the transfer portal. They got USC's Miller Moss. Is that going to be a big help?
Well, I'll give it the Brady and Nick.
Who?
right
Let
here,
me
but yeah.
let me ask you again. Who do they pick up?
Miller Moss.
Miller Moss.
USC
Okay.
quarterback. And the thing of it is, USC played Louisville last year in the Holiday Bowl. He throws 3 touchdown passes. And then Penn State had to go out there and beat USC in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of glad because...
Yeah, USC had a great first half.
I'm familiar with Isaac Brown, the freshman running back for Louisville. He was the ACC freshman rookie of the year. He ran for 1,100 yards, and the other guy ran for 700 yards, the other freshman. So Miller Moss is going to have 2 guys behind him that are studs. Does that give Louisville an opportunity to be one of the top contenders in the ACC next season, Corey?
I think they're going to be right up there. I think that's a good splash of a move there with having Miller Moss there.
I know that he was replaced at the end of the season, but I'm not sure if that was due to injury or poor performance. But he definitely has flashes in his moments. He just has to be consistent, and especially in going a weaker conference from the Big Ten to the ACC, he should be able to compete just as well. So.
Yeah, I think you got a point there. He has the potential, and Coach Jeff Brown for Louisville was really good at grooming quarterbacks where he was a quarterback for Louisville, and he was a damn good one. So I think that he'll fit in there because he's got 2 good running backs behind him, so that can balance the offense.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting. And, Carl, were you surprised that Penn State had the seeding what they did?
I'm pleased, Corey. I'm pleased.
Well, yeah.
And again, Jeff, here we go again, just like the backup quarterback that we had a couple years ago, Will Levis, he goes and transfers. I kind of figured that he would transfer out, but it's just bad timing, but it's not his fault because they're in the playoffs. And now what happens if Allard gets hurt, Corey?
Well,
Like Brady made a great point. Now SMU doesn't have to prepare for the Bo Pribula sequence
Effects,
or whatever.
yeah.
Because you know what? He's kind of a little antsy back there, and he is injury prone, so it could be shaky. Especially going deep into the playoffs and you don't have a backup, that's pretty damn bad.
Well, the NCAA's got to look at that. This is something they don't want, so they got to correct it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, because they put these athletes in a hard situation. You look at Marshall. Marshall, they opted out of their bowl game because they didn't have enough players to,
Who wanted to risk their NFL draft chances,
and with them
or
leaving,
were otherwise unhealthy, maybe. But yeah.
healthy or just on the portal there.
Well,
So,
McCafferty was one of the first to do that. Blame him.
I'm just looking at how they have that set line for December 28th. So these players have to, commit whether they are going to get, with Drew Aller staying for a senior year. That is just a trickle down effect. That's the same thing with Ohio State, with with Aaron Nola, with him going to the transfer portal, you have Julian Saying as the quarterback for the future next year, where you have the other quarterbacks. It's like, hey, we want to compete, we want to play, which I don't blame them. It's just I think the NCAA has to just change something in their language that allows players to play in a playoff game. And
The Heisman Trophy winner, he's going to play in the bowl game.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes,
don't
yeah.
you bring
as
that
well.
up. I have as you know, this thing has been going on for years, me and you having this conversation,
I know.
okay?
I know.
They give the Heisman to Travis Hunter, okay?
Yeah.
Let's say Colorado goes in and loses their bowl game, and Oregon goes on and wins it all. You knew who should have got the Heisman Trophy?
Yeah, but that guy's 24 years old. That doesn't seem right that he should be playing college football. 24. Dylan, you're talking about Gabriel Dillon or whatever his name is.
If they go on and win it all, okay, it's just like
Yeah.
they gave Jeff, in 1985, they gave the Heisman Trophy to Vinny Testaverde.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens in the Fiesta Bowl? Penn State beats
Right.
Vinny Testaverde. He gets picked off 5 times, and he had no answer for Penn State's defense.
Some Heisman, yeah.
Et cetera. Why do they give the Heisman Trophy out before the bowl game?
I don't know.
It's always burning.
And then there was the other year when Reggie Bush won it and Vince Young outplayed. I mean, he led Texas to the championship. He should have won it that year, but
I want to ask those 2 gentlemen down there at the end. Now, what do you think about this, what I just said? You think that they should give the Heisman Trophy out after the bowl game? Because Oregon could go on and win it all, and that he just perfectly well deserves the Heisman. Let's say Colorado loses their bowl game, and they give it to Travis Hunter.
I just think that they've pretty much made the Heisman a regular season award for the teams like Colorado who didn't get a chance to play in the bowl game or like big meaningful bowl games. But I understand the point of where like quarterback on a national championship team definitely should be in contention for the Heisman. But Oregon is just so built on the running game and the great wide receivers along with the aggressive head coach. So I think that they're just more of like a great team instead of just Dylan Gabriel leading him all the way.
And I just like the fact that, honestly, it didn't go to a quarterback. I feel like just like the MVP in the NFL, it's a lot of years.
Quarterback-centric.
Yeah, it turns into a quarterback award. And
Well, how about this? If they win the national championship and he ends up throwing 5 touchdown passes,
Well, I think don't they have an MVP award in that game for it, or?
Yeah, and they have.
or will they in the 12-team playoff? Will they have a most valuable player of the playoffs? I don't know. At some point,
Yeah.
they
I think
will. If
they might,
don't.
with the increasing more teams and all that there. But, they have an award for a quarterback. They have a running back award.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I'm with the agreement. If,
Best tight end award. Yeah.
So I look at it as a regular season award as well. I look at it, your body of work, with players, opting out and this and that, and transfer. It's the Heisman is more or less just the regular season. I mean, we do that for, the MVP and, all the sports there.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just,
There's really not anything you can name that encompasses regular season and playoffs.
yeah, it's.
hey, Corey,
Nothing I
I really
can name.
think if Penn State plays healthy and they have their head in it, Penn State has the potential to win because they gave Oregon only beat them by 8, okay? They only beat you guys by 1. So Oregon is beatable.
No doubt about. I thought they were, and Penn State was such a second-half team down the stretch. I felt that they were going to win that game too. And
They scored 37 points. In reality, it could have been 40 because the kicker missed a 40-yard field goal. Let's say he got that. It would have been 45-40. Penn State can stay with them.
yeah,
But getting back, because if this coach doesn't get fired, I will hit my head, get a hammer and hit over my head.
I hate
They started out 7-0, and they finished 7-5. And like Jeff, if Pitt don't beat Toledo, we're going to be saying, "Holy Toledo!" Let's say Toledo beats them. Does Narduzzi get canned, Corey?
I I mean, I think his leash is pretty tight right now there, but
Around his neck, yeah.
but I think I think he can't have another bad season there, in Pitt there. But
I mean, Pitt's kind of like the Steelers. They don't change coaches very often. I mean, look at the tenures of those guys,
What would
Tomlin.
you two guys do at the end there? You start out 7-0, you end up 7-5, and possibly end up 7-6. What would you do with Pat Narduzzi?
Well, you also got to factor in they were starting a freshman quarterback in Eli Holstein, and I'm pretty sure he dealt with a lot of injuries throughout the year. So, but when he was playing, they were a pretty darn good team. And they also played a significantly easier schedule in the first half of the year, and because they didn't play all the ACC powerhouses till the second half of the season. So
and they're out of conference, a little bit on the weaker side with their strength of schedule out of conference compared to other
Louisville
teams.
beat them 37-9. Hey Corey, Louisville finished 8-4, and they were 24 points away. They got beat by Notre Dame by 7, SMU by 7, Miami by 7, and what killed them, they lost to Stanford by 3. So all 4 of those losses that Louisville had were a total combined 24 points. And
Are they going to a bowl? I imagine
They could have possibly been in the ACC championship game if they wouldn't have lost to Stanford.
What bowl are they going to?
They're going to the Sun Bowl against Washington.
Ah, CBS from El Paso. I love that game for
Who
whatever
wins that
reason.
one, Corey?
I would probably lean towards Louisville there, but I mean it's so hard to pick these the bowl games that are not
Especially
in
with the
playoff.
defections that
You
could
know,
be last minute too. You
I
don't
mean,
know.
what is the level of intrigue that these players have? So but I would go with Louisville.
It's very good to win your bowl game, even though some players opt out, because those players that are playing in that bowl game is your future for next season, and you want to win and carry that over into next season.
And you get an extra month of practice. So yeah, there's a lot of.
Reps for the underclassmen and such there.
Who are they
I
playing?
mean, that's what a bowl game is. I don't care if it's the Papa John's Bowl. You want to win your bowl
Easy
game.
now.
You're together, you're playing, and you're going to be playing
Washington.
next year together, and that gives you your momentum.
Then they have the Belk Bowl. It's the Huskies.
But
Okay.
anyways, I am
Department
so
store.
glad. This is so good for college football that the Tide did not get in.
Yes. And who do they have? Is that Colorado?
They got Michigan.
Oh, that's right, Michigan. And Michigan's already had a bunch of guys opt out, so they're not going to be. I guess that's just where you're trying to draw a fan base, because Michigan probably doesn't deserve to. I think they deserve to play
Miami had a
Alabama.
Great season, and then they just fell into 10th.
Yeah, well, when you lose to Syracuse, that was their death knell for sure.
Now,
You two guys at the end there, who's going to win it all?
Oh, this is Brady and Nick.
Brady and Nick. Who's going to win it all?
I have Ohio State taking down Notre Dame in the national championship, but I think the actual national championship is the quarterfinal game between Ohio State and Oregon. Whoever wins that game's winning it all, in my opinion.
Hey, don't let Indiana has a great passing game, and Notre Dame has really been tested too much. The strength of schedule, they've been under the radar, and Indiana's no fluke. Indiana's really good with the pass, and Tyler Shuck of Louisville picked apart Notre Dame. And the statistics were better for Louisville. It's just that Louisville lost to Notre Dame because they had 3 crucial turnovers.
And that's what Notre Dame does. I think they lead the country in turnovers forced in the past couple weeks, and they have a dynamic run game with Jeremiah Love and some other. I forget the second guy's name, but that's why I think they get it over the hump, because they have the run game and the defense creates turnovers. So
Nick, are you going to have Nick pick a overall winner?
Yeah, they're going to win.
I agree with Brady. I think Oregon's going to beat Ohio State though, and I think that once they get over that hump, that they're gonna take it
Perfect
home.
season.
Uh,
Would be what? 16-0? How many games?
Yeah, it'd be 16.
That'll be 16-0 there, yeah.
Well, what about their
I
studies?
don't know what you guys think, but out of the 12 teams in there, I think the weakest team is Clemson.
I would agree with that there. I mean, looking at, they're their only 3-loss team in the playoffs. The only reason they're in the playoffs is because of that 57-yard field goal.
And they won the ACC.
And they won the ACC there. So I would agree with you there, that being the weakest team there in the field of 12 there.
Because Louisville beat them. Clemson had a 22-game night winning streak broke by Louisville, Corey, and it was set back from 2013. So it's hard to go in a night game and beat Clemson, and Louisville beat them.
Yep.
They destroyed them.
So, Carl.
But I think Clemson, with 3 losses, it just irks me. But who would you rather have, though? Is it Clemson in there or Alabama?
Clemson.
If Clemson would have lost that game, Alabama's in the playoffs there, and then the whole matchups are all different there. But who do you have win the whole thing there, or who's your championship game and then winning the whole thing?
I hate to say it, but you gotta say the Ducks.
Okay, Ducks against.
I was a betting man out in Vegas. I would probably lean to more Oregon.
Yeah.
But when you're in. Anybody can beat anybody. Oregon might have a bad game. Everybody's got a bad game. You just never know.
What, Indiana plays on Friday?
Indiana, it's the battle of the state of Indiana there.
Notre Dame and Indiana.
Believe it or not, I think Indiana beats Notre Dame in a close one. Indiana is very good with the pass. It's going to be a close game, and I don't know. For some reason, I just think that Indiana's going to beat them.
All right, Corey, who do you like?
I'm right with you as well in that upset. I was going back and forth of what of these 4 teams on the road that pulls off the upset. I'm going to go with the Hoosiers pulling off that upset.
Corey, I'm with you too, because there was two guys on the Big Ten Network were saying that Indiana's got the potential to beat them, to beat the Irish, and I think Notre Dame's due for a loss. And I think Indiana beats them, but it's a close one.
And then my championship game, I'm going to go Ohio State and Georgia. I was close. I was leaning towards.
I know you like Ohio State.
I was.
I like Penn State, but I'm going to say, do I think that Penn State's the champ? No.
I almost went Ohio State, Penn State, but I pivot and I went Ohio State, beating Georgia. I look at the way the talent. I think I agree with Brady that the championship game could be the Oregon Ohio State game there. So
Now, do they reseed after the? No.
It's,
Okay, there's 2 brackets. Okay, and
Oregon has dominated the.
Hey, Corey, I had a friend at work saying, only if Kyle McCord would have stayed in Columbus. As you know, he went up to the Dome in Syracuse, and he looked phenomenal.
I think it's just a change of scenery. That's how I would chalk that up there. I know you can play that what-if game. If he stayed in Ohio State, could he have put up these numbers? I think a change of scenery, and then he had a great season with Syracuse there. So I applaud him, how he did there.
well, I'm going to go with the upset special, Carl. And maybe.
What's that, Jeff? Don't you say
Penn State.
SMU over Penn State.
Penn State to win it all.
Jeff,
I hope I didn't jinx them.
really?
We'll
Brady,
see.
you were going to make a point earlier too. I
Hey, are
think.
you going to slap me there, Corey?
No. I mean, we're all entitled to our,
We're all friends here.
predictions there. But Brady had a comment there.
Just going back to with Oregon is that they dominated the whole regular season, beat every Big Ten, the top Big Ten teams, Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State, and they get the 1 seed. And instead of getting to play easy games, they get the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee, then most likely
Texas. Arizona,
and then have to play either probably Penn State, Georgia, or Notre Dame. So Oregon got unlucky with the way the seeding is, and I think Penn State really benefited from the seeding. So I think Penn State has a good.
Hey, Corey,
A good path.
They were on the panelists when they had the round table talking about the playoff system. They said out of the 12 seeds,
It's the 5.
Why did they say the number 5 seed
It's-
is the best?
It's the 5 because normally, it's because Clemson won and then Clemson won that. It's because of the seeding purposes.
Well,
Because
yeah, I mean, they're saying just the numbers work that way, but I mean, Boise State waiting is not exactly intimidating. But they have Janti, right, or how do you pronounce that?
So
John T.
the reason why a lot of people said 5 is the wheelhouse there because you're playing the worst team. Usually it would be your group of 5 school, but with all these upsets, with Clemson winning, they slot it to the 12. Now the 4 seed would be your lowest conference ranked team, which is Arizona State. So I think this year, everybody was saying it was the 5, but I would say it was Penn State having that just because of how the games fell. It's nothing wrong with what Penn State did, it's just how the system is in place.
Can Arizona State win a
So
game?
as you say,
I-
I was saying that Clemson's the weakest. Would you say the next weakest team would be Arizona State?
No, I think it was probably SMU is the
Yeah.
next weekest because I wouldn't be shocked if Arizona State wins because with Cam Scatterbill, he reminds
They're
me
coming on, right, second half of the season,
he reminds me of Toby Garrett. Just a great running back out in the backfield that can run there. So I wouldn't say Arizona State is the weakest. I think they're right in the
Got
middle.
SMU the weakest. So we'll know coming up here this weekend because the weak teams will be weeded out, and probably SMU and Clemson. Clemson plays Texas, right?
Yes.
Do they survive there? I think it's a blowout.
Honestly, I think it's going to be a blowout as well.
Look for Arch Manning to get some reps.
I'm going to say Texas 35, Clemson 17.
All right, well, listen, Carl, we're almost out of time. You've been outstanding.
The two gentlemen down there at the end, did you guys play football?
I did, yes.
I played
You
baseball.
look like football players.
Do I look like a
They're
football player? or-
brainy.
yeah.
They're brainy, too. I mean, these guys are smart.
Corey looks like he might be in the band.
All right, I'll take that there.
He's going to dot the I. What is that, like a sousaphone
yeah.
player? Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, I like your red jacket there. Why don't you have the Santa hat on?
Ho, ho, ho. I couldn't
Yeah.
find it. I was looking for it. My wife wasn't there. I somehow don't know where that kind of thing is kept. So I'm out of the loop in my own house anyway. Hey, we gotta give these guys a send-off. Carl,
Hey, Jeff, are you going to be on next Monday, Tuesday night?
no, we're not gonna do Christmas Eve.
No,
are
yeah,
we?
no.
Oh, that's right, yeah. What am I
But we might do New Year's Eve, right? We could.
We're thinking about doing a Christmas or a New Year's Eve special there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's
yeah.
special.
Special
but yeah.
edition of Sports Chat.
Yeah.
But anyways, Corey, before I get off here, I'm with you. I think the Hoosiers upset the Irish.
Yep, we shall see. We don't have to wait too long because that is
Hey, I
Friday
think we
night.
agree on something.
We try, yes.
All right.
All right, you all have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Christmas.
Carl.
Yep, thank
Ho,
you,
ho,
thank
ho.
you.
Guys later.
All right, sounds good. Hey, Nick and Brady, you guys are home on break. Feel free to come back anytime. You passed your initial tryout, so you'll let them know if we're going to do a show in 2 weeks. I mean, it won't interfere with any merrymaking on New Year's Eve. It's 6 to 6:45, so you can still watch TV, watch the ball drop on Times Square. But we might, I don't know, when you guys go back? You said the 13th and the 20th of January. So feel free to come back anytime.
Any closing thoughts there, or?
Shout out, holiday greetings, anything of that nature to your many fans.
I think I'm all right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good
Well,
as
I'm
well.
going to say Merry Christmas to loved ones and friends throughout the land, and hope you get everything that's on your list. Thanks to Sean for pushing all the right buttons, and stay tuned for trivia in about 15 minutes. Excellent addition. Great work, Nick and Brady. Thank you so much. Corey, I'm Jeff Cook. We'll see you in a fortnight. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Eid. Thank you so much. See you next time, sports fans. Good night. Mahalo.
Everyone, Laura here with Community Media to share an exciting new opportunity with you. Here at Community Media, we believe that a healthy community is a connected community. Therefore, we would like to invite all of our friends in Adams and York County a chance to connect and interact with us through our Patreon. What's a Patreon, you may ask? It's a program that would allow you to interact and be an influence to the community through community media, and also support our effort to celebrate who we are and what we do as a community. You can connect with us for as little as $5 a month. Interested in learning more? Check out the website for other options, allowing you to choose which one works best for you. To become a patron, please visit patreon.com/community media. We look forward to connecting with you, and we thank you for your support.
What's the matter, fella? Jump?
I'm Adam with the World War II American Experience, and we want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I'm standing here next to a 1936 DeSoto taxi that was in the movie It's a Wonderful Life. You can see this car along with a World War II era Lionel train layout now through the new year. So bring your friends and family out and come see these cool pieces.